going to go over my picture today and my thoughts and that kind of thing, and hopefully I'll get some feedback. So I just want to start today's talk with inviting the Lord in, and then followed by the serenity prayer, and then we'll get started. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Well, I hope everybody had a good day today. Um, the picture message that I had today was, my life is not full in spite of disappointment. It is full because of them. That, I guess, is when I heard that, I was kind of like, that is where you have to find the positive, right? There's so many mistakes I've made in my life. I've talked about, my addiction. Um, and that took me down a lot of roads that I'm very, I was disappointed majorly in myself, having to go to detox, having to go to rehab. I felt like I was letting my kids down. I just felt like my whole world had been turned upside down. And I got sober like 2 years prior, and I had a relapse, and then ended up going to treatment that time. And it really wasn't that I was that bad off. It was more of, I just needed to get away from everything that I knew. And it was really and truly one of the best decisions I've ever made. And here I am, 42 years old, I guess, when that happened. And I learned a lot about myself that I did not know, for the last 40, at that time, 42 years. And I was just like, I wish I had had this opportunity a long time ago, not to go to rehab, but I wish I would have been able to. But wishing, like we always want to know, I wish I would have known what I know now and could be 16. And obviously that's not how life works. It would be nice sometimes. But I learned a lot while I was down there. And when I went down there, I said in that other video that men, like, making whoever I'm with my number one, making them my God, making them like my world revolves around you. I don't even take care of myself. And that's so toxic. And when I went down there, I was like, you know what? I need to stay away from men. That also helped me a lot too, because that taught me how to be okay with me and be okay in my skin without finding validation and having to have that constant back off from a man. And I was very grateful for that because, you know, um, I feel like with relationships, it's like, um, I can be okay with as long as I can be okay with myself. I don't have to be in a relationship. And what do they call that? Codependency. Codependency no more. I've read that, and I swear I think that book was written about me. It's really good, and I was glad that I got to that point, because then when I came back from Florida, I was able to live my life in a different way. I didn't have to have a man to be okay. I didn't have to have a man to be happy. And then when I got okay with myself and I was able to live life without feeling, it was amazing, because, I don't even have to be in a relationship. And a friendship that I was in, sorry, I have a friendship that turned into a relationship, and it's a beautiful thing, because it was nothing that was forced. It was just, it happened, living one day at a time. And I don't think I would have had that opportunity if I had still had that obsession with wanting to, um, not wanting to, but feeling like that I had to be in a relationship and being controlled by a man. Like, that was my comfort. And I've heard so many people, in conversation, that have that problem. They're like, they just can't do it. They're scared to be alone. And I think that's such a terrible place to be. It's like you're locked up somewhere. I mean, like, being fearful of not being attached to another person constantly. I just feel like that is so toxic. I don't know. But, and maybe people don't agree with me. But that was one of the things that, I got disappointed in myself. I had to go away, but I learned a lot about myself. I was able to have healthier relationships. So a lot of good come out of it, right? So yeah, it made my life more full, because I was able to live more of a non-toxic life. and I'm still doing that today. And I'm not saying it's completely non-toxic, obviously, but it's not filled with a lot of unhealthy behaviors because I'm able to recognize them now. I'm able to recognize patterns. That's another thing, huge thing that the steps taught me in one of the programs that I'm in is that just making a list and looking at my past, I'm able to see patterns that I'm constantly. And now, I can see it coming, and I can stop, and I can pause, and then I can pray, and then I realize, hey, yep, you're getting ready to go down the same road you went down in the past. We don't want to do that because where does it end up? But that has fulfilled my life because I'm able to live that way, and it's a lot healthier. Another thing, feeling for me, like if I feel like I talked about, I think yesterday, like God being my employer, if I feel like I'm really doing His work and being able to spread His word and be able to help others and show love and just all as much positive as you can bring in, constantly being attached to the light of the Spirit, and being able to do that, it's just amazing what you can do, and it feels so good for me. It feels so good inside to be able to think that maybe I'm helping somebody else. Exactly why, I want to do these videos. I'm just hoping that I can help somebody. And in turn, more than not, that person or those people end up helping me more than I could have ever helped them. So it's a win-win situation. And when I was in rehab, there was a lot of God moments. I've had a lot of God moments my entire life. And that right here where it says, it is full because of them. If I didn't find myself in these bad situations and finding God right in the middle of it, of the storm, that is what makes me full. Knowing that God's got my back no matter what, and seeing the growth that I've made through life and the things that, I've learned those lessons. So being disappointed in the decisions that you make, or being disappointed in, things not working out the way they're supposed to. I know a lot of people say God closes one door, He'll open another. And if we be patient, we can see that between, right in our eyes. And also, you're not gonna have where you're making a lot more disappointments, because you've learned from your past experiences, and you're able to make better choices and healthier lifestyle. Same scenario. Had to go to rehab. I mean, not rehab. I had to go to the mental institution. I guess it was a little over a year ago, and back again, I had relapsed, and I was very depressed. Just could not. And actually, I had gotten COVID, and then I got the flu, so I'd been locked up for 2 months in a basement where I couldn't go anywhere because I had a very small child in the house with my grandbaby, and I did not want to get him sick. That was more important than me, being locked up down there. So I stayed in the basement. I got very depressed, and then I did end up relapsing after 2 months of living like that. And anyway, so I got really bad off and ended up going to the hospital. And then, of course, I told them I wanted to die, and they IVC'd me, and I had to spend time in the mental ward for 8 days. And I thought that was going to be the worst 8 days of my life. And I actually met some good people in there, and actually had my Bible with me because I had it in the car, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, don't know how long I'm going to be in this place. Let me tell you, God showed up so much while I was there. The people that worked there probably thought it was crazy. We're reading the Bible in group in the main area. Me and about 6 other people, we held hands, we prayed. None of that was going on before meals. Didn't finish that sentence. And there was just a lot of God moments in there. And again, I disappointed myself. I went to the hospital. I'm acting crazy. I'm depressed. I'm sad. It's a disappointing time in my life. But when I walked out of that place, and I would even call home and say, I thought I was going to be climbing the walls while I'm here. But guess what? I didn't. I had so many God moments. It was like having church every day in that place. It was absolutely amazing. And I feel weird saying that. But I do feel like God puts us in places that He can use us. And it may not look like a good place for you to be at the time. But if you look back and you're like, wow, God really showed up. And God used them to help me. And God used me to help them. And it's just, a circle, like the circle of life. And showing love and compassion for other people And, you know, I mentioned a while ago having to leave my kids to go to rehab. You know, I look over the past years, and it's just amazing the things that I've done. And I feel like I really let my kids down, and that is huge disappointment for me because I love my children to death, and I would never want to do anything to harm them. But I have, you know, I have made really poor choices. My daughter told me probably about a month ago, she's like, Mama, you know, I'll have to say, I know things have been up and down roller coaster in our life, but I am kind of, well, she said, I'm grateful that things went the way they did because I don't think I would be as strong as I am today. And I say that with adding that I know that I wouldn't be the humble person that I am today. And I normally don't even say that because I don't recognize that I have people that tell me that. And then I sit and think about it, and I'm like, you know, I remember being so judgmental of other people. But just like I said last night about going to hell, and I mean that as in like living hell on earth. And if you're an addict, I know you've been there. It's not a pretty place, and it's not a good place to be. And it's very, very scary. But, you know, I used to judge people. I used to judge their actions. I used to think I would never do that, and I can't believe people would have the nerve to do this, that, you know, just judgmental. And now I'm like, I wonder what's causing that person to do those things. I wonder if there's a trauma that, you know, you just don't know what people are going through. And yeah, I'm sure some of that's maturity, but I think a lot of it is the mess I've been through in my lifetime. And it just will humble you. It will humble you. If you can crawl on your belly like a caterpillar and learn to fly as an addict, you will be humbled. Well, I shouldn't say you. I was humbled, and most people I feel like are. Obviously, there's an exception to the rule. Some people just, it's not for me to judge, I guess I should say. It's just from what I observe, but it's not my business. And that's another thing, the gossip, you know, just like in high school. And there's people my age that they got to post all this stuff about people on Facebook, and it's just like, no. You know, I don't do social media. Um, other than just stuff like this, but I don't do the posting everything that's going on in my life, and that's okay for people to do. I just don't think it's necessary. But I don't like to partake in people talking or being mean to other people, and I did in the past do that. And I don't want to live like that today. I used to have road rage really bad. I don't even do that anymore. And I think a lot of it's just, you know, going through disappointing times and hard times, and because of the disappointments, it is full because of them. And that's so true. Like, if I had not been through all of that bad stuff, would I be who I am today? No, I would not. Um, you know, I think even when you hit rock bottom, I mean, there's nowhere but up, you know, and so that's my thoughts on that. And I just really hope that some people will give me some feedback on their thoughts or maybe some other struggles that they're going through. And I think I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. So if you want to reach me as far as a message, my website, I mean, sorry, my website. My email is maydaisylove79 at gmail.com. I am also offering life coaching, so you can send me a message if you want, if you're interested in that or anything else. And if not, if this is your first time, please subscribe and like below. And just would love to have your support. Thank you so much, and I hope you'll have a great evening. And I should be able to do another video tomorrow. So hope to see y'all tomorrow. Thank you so much, and I hope y'all have a great evening.